Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks and another game of Beyond All Reason. You seem to like the last one, so why don't we bring another one in? Another exciting match that was pulled directly from the live streams that we do every Tuesday and Saturday. And let me tell you, this was another absolute banger of a match. Spawning here on the southern side of failed negotiations and representing the blue team, it's going to be none other than Jamakis, our sworn enemy from the very last episode. But today, going to be representing our team, leading the blues. It's funny because as this stream went on, more and more higher skilled players kept joining, and suddenly I kept getting shifted down the stacks. A little bit stressful, not gonna lie, a little bit stressful. But anyway, spawning on the northern side and representing the red team is a Cortex Commander. It's gonna be Classic, StarCraft 2 Pro. Goes by the name of Classic. I'm not sure if it's the same person, but certainly the same name here. Gonna be spawning in as Cortex Commander, going into a bot lab here in the backlines. Definitely expecting to see some frontline shenanigans here. This looks like a backline spot, but really it's more of a frontline spot. Yeah, you pretty much got to go to the front here. Bobtree1 also going to be contributing here on the fronts, going for vehicles, which is interesting. Vehicles have to take a nice long path all the way into the back here, down these ramps and onto the fronts here. Going to be difficult for Bobtree to get down there. Reed Sweet here going for a bot lab as Cortex Commander, and those bots are going to have a much easier time getting down this slope and onto the beaches here on the northern side. Love this map, by the way. Failed Negotiations, one of my favorite maps of all reason. It's one of those maps that just constantly keeps coming back as like, well, let me put it this way. It constantly keeps producing good games. I feel like that's probably a very fair measure of how good a map is how good of a quality of the games you get out of the map are, and this one certainly seems to hit the mark just about every single time. Here I am spawning here in the teal color. Love this color. Spawning as a Legion Commander, and oh, that reminds me, there is a little bit of a tweak units that we enabled midway through this stream. So it's a little bit of a project that's been worked on by some community members, and what it essentially does is it tweaks the way that some of the units in the game work. For the most part, you'll be able to tell immediately when something is tweaked. It's either pretty obvious or it doesn't matter. But some of the things include Thors having 11,000 less health, so Thors are a little less oppressive. Titans fire a little bit quicker with their impulse blasters, their little pew 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 hand cannons. Those fire just a little bit faster. Trying to think of any other balance adjustments. One thing that you'll see shortly here is that Rocketeers, Aggravators, any rocket bot, save for the Legion rocket bots, the Ballistas, they fire extremely quickly. Well, they don't fire extremely quickly, but rather the rockets travel extremely quickly. So you're going to see that here as soon as these rocket bots get to the front line and start engaging each other. They're menaces, absolute menaces on the front lines. Very difficult to deal with, but very fun to play with. It makes them feel like proper rocket launchers rather than the kind of floaty missiles that we normally have here. Other than that, though, regular stream economics are in play here, so we have double value on energy converters. So you'll probably see a lot of these commanders going for energy converters here because they're 200% as efficient as normal here. So for instance, where instead this usually would convert 70 energy into 1 metal, instead now it's going to convert 70 energy into 2 metal. So get a whole lot more bang for your buck when you go for those energy converters. Oh, let's see if we can... Oh, well, I missed it. So you go. You can see that Rocketeer has a little bit of a wind-up, and it launches those rockets at Mach 12. Ah, I love to see it. Yeah, I'm going to be playing with this a whole lot more because I sure enjoy the way that the Rocketeers actually feel when you're using them like this. It makes those rockets feel like they're a whole lot more menacing. Definitely makes the Rocketeers a little bit more viable of a troop against some of those spammier units. You can actually even use those Rocketeers as a force for dealing with up to Fiends even, just because of how quick those rockets travel. They can actually hit the Fiends now, which is a little bit of a weird change of pace there. A little bit of a run by yours truly here, sending a couple of these goblins through. Love the decal on these, or the little emblem on these. Look at those adorable little Gundam mech walkers rolling along, firing their little arm cannons out. Absolutely adorable. That's what that is. Sniping 2 metal extractors, maybe even a third here. It's been long enough that I've forgotten what happened this match, so we're reliving this live, experiencing all the glory with you live here, folks. Another metal extractor goes down, shutting down the economy ever so slightly for Frag the Rock Johnson. Excuse me, Frag the Rock Johnson, who's going to be, hindered just a little bit by those metal extractors going down. Always nice to have those up and running and giving you a steady supply of metal income. The Rocketeer is also extremely dangerous to commanders now. I hadn't thought about it, but very, very dangerous to commanders as well, because commanders have to dodge a whole lot more proactively here if they want to keep avoiding those rockets. Now, you can see the rocket launchers don't fire nearly as quickly, but those rockets connecting a whole lot more frequently pretty much balances it out quite nicely. I don't know. I think it's a well worthwhile sort of a kind of an investment. Yeah. Also makes them very dangerous when you spam them up to big numbers. They can start to fire in huge volleys that can really take down some heavy beasts, tanks, and heavy bots, all sorts of stuff like that. I can't remember what my plan was here. Trying to remember what my plan was. Got a geothermal up and running here. Legion has access to both a Dragon's Claw and a Dragon's Maw here, so they can build all sorts of static defense. So I built a little lightning turret here to help out. Always fun to play around with Legion whenever you get the chance to. It's a fun little faction. Oh, nice place for a spy cam right there. Yeah, that's just beautiful. Igawa puts down a spy cam right there. That's going to be a nice little bit of vision. Yeah, I really like that. Jellyfish firing some of those depth charges out of its schnozzle and into the waters here and hitting some of the blitzes. When's the last time you've seen a blitz killed by a torpedo launcher, huh? I imagine it doesn't happen all too often. Retweet, though, reacting to this perfectly. Sending the commander on over. Oh, well, there we go. There we are. D-guns down those, and they will be no more. As soon as those tanks and, well, basically anything gets out of the water, this jellyfish not going to be able to fire at them anymore. Certainly scuffing them up quite badly, though, before they manage to actually make landfall. Here we go, these big rocket battles. Firing those Mach 12 rockets as fast as humanly possible, as fast as robotically possible. And there they go. So oppressive on the front lines. Impossible to kite against, really. Well, nice D-gun right there by Jamakis. Manages to take down some of those Rocketeers right there. Those Aggravators, rather. Pardon me. Shell Shocker's also contributing greatly over here, but now the Rocketeers, the forces from the Kingdom, going to be coming out in this direction to try and help out. Those rockets can actually travel a whole lot further beyond their range of fire now that I'm thinking about it. They can actually, yeah, they can reach out pretty far behind. Makes it a little bit dangerous to, yeah, keep units behind your front line because, well, anything sensitive is going to be evaporated there. Commander death over here. Looks like a Goblin goes down. Commander, anyway, goes down. Tanks still pushing forward, though. They do find Reetsweet's commander. Reetsweet shouldn't have too much trouble cleaning up these tanks over here, though. Ooh, nice dodge right there by the medium tank, though. Whistler will go down, but the Stouts here are still firing away. Trying to put some scratch on that commander, but it's not going to happen. Reetsweet manages to stay alive. Hopefully. Well, probably looking for some of that juicy reclaim. Already up to a T2 constructor here. T2 laboratory, rather. Getting ready to go into the T2 field. Probably looking the same way in the backline right here. Jamak is going up to T2 as well. Getting these metal extractors up. So I was thinking about this. When the energy converters produce double economy, is it worth it to go for these advanced metal extractors if they're going to double the metal output of 1.8 to I guess, you know, around 3 or so, 3.2? Is it still worth it? I don't know. 3.6, either way. It seems like building an advanced energy converter and going for a whole bunch of energy conversion to get that 20 metal per second out of the energy converter might actually be more efficient over here. Little Gundams, extremely annoying. Very, very good at harassing down all sorts of stuff. They slightly outrange the grunts, so you can give those Cortex commanders a taste of their medicine in case you're an Armada player like I am. They get to enjoy being outranged for the first time. Yeah, their grunts typically win the battle virtually every single time. Looks like Ozlex and Classic looking for a little bit of a trade here. Both players have to agree to back off the trade, otherwise it's not going to happen. Ooh, Classic taking some hits, though. Ooh, Classic getting real low, takes down the commander in red, but it also splashes back and kills this commander over here. Ozlex also goes down. My goodness, 4 commander wreckages lying in the dirt over here. That's a solid chunk of metal right there. I'm sure somebody's going to want to get their juicy mitts on that. Looks like it's Jamakis for now. We also have some Resbots coming out here for Ozlex. At this point, I don't even mind Ozlex eating up all that metal and just feeding it back to the team here. Yeah, all that metal needs to be eaten up. Very nicely done. Using those Resbots to clean all this up. Rocketeers firing their rockets up into the sky to try and shoot down some of those planes. Big old run by on this side here. A whole bunch of these goblins trying to make their way across this beachhead. They're going to find a bunch of these Rocketeers. Aggravators, rather. Not going to be too swayed by those. Beamer turret over here. Quite menacing, though. Yeah, got to watch out for those. Beamer turrets. Definitely the secure... the perfect counter, I should say, to these lighter units like this. Goblin's so difficult to deal with. They have such a tremendous range, and they're so quick. They're very, very annoying to fight against here. Strawberry transporting the commander forward as well. Trying to establish a stranglehold on the land over here on this side. Hovercraft over on the left-hand side. Were these produced by the naval player? Oh, they must have been. Okay. Clombaz going for some naval as well as some hovercraft over there. It's very expensive. Not the end of the world, though. Certainly quite powerful. Oh, I see. I was wondering what was happening over here. Yeah, we've got the Rocketeers dumbfiring into the commander wreckage here so that we slowly whittle it down. Don't think that's going to happen. 83% of the way down, and it's not, yeah, not going to be dead anytime soon. Reed Sweet still holding the line over here, trying to resurrect the commander in the water. It looks like Reed Sweet did not manage to eat up that commander wreckage over there. A bit unfortunate. That was another change that was made during this pack. I forgot about that. The heavy laser towers of all shapes and sorts, they do double damage. So well, I'm not sure if it's fire quicker, but they just do a whole lot more damage. Makes them a more menacing threat, especially into the T2 stage. Once you're ready to get there, the heavy laser towers can actually manage to hold their own, at least a little bit better than they otherwise previously could. Very aggressive positioning by myself, trying to set up a forward beachhead here, just make it very inconvenient for them to push into my side of the map here, so just setting up a whole bunch of static defense. Eventually this is going to fall, and I think I knew it, but trying to set up a static defense like this and then eventually use it to cover your transition into a full-blown T2 economy, which is basically what I'm doing right now. You can see I eat up that T2 lab, sacrificing a whole bunch of metal accidentally. But it's all well because, yeah, these T2 metal extractors are going to be coming up here. Thinking about those energy converters here, and also this advanced geothermal, trying to make sure that I'm maximizing the economy while I still have this massive advantage over on the front line. That being said, it's not like there's a whole lot of units on the front line. I just have a whole bunch of goblins, but the advantage has been pressed to the extent that there's enough damage was done to Fragnarok Johnson, my opponent over here, that I felt comfortable going for a little bit of a transition into T2 and into a better, slightly better economy. Fighters flying right over the anti-air over here. I'm more than happy to see it. Any fighter kills on enemy territory, certainly well worth it. Commander trying to hold the lines over here. Nice capture over on this side. Those fiends, as well as blitzes and shell shockers, working in tandem to get control over this little island over here. We need to get that 4.8 metal extractor up and running. These heavy laser towers contributing significant firepower, making it very difficult for Jamakis to push in there. More and more pressure is building over here for Reed Sweet. Yeah. That's another change that I quite like. So the Arbiter has been adjusted. Well, basically any rocket launcher like this has been adjusted. Essentially all of their area of effect has been removed, so there's no AoE on this. However, they now heat seek their missiles. So when the missiles are colliding with, you know, whatever, they can adjust course, and so you can see no matter what, it will hit directly on their target. In my opinion, my humble opinion, that makes them a much more significant force. It also makes them much more comparable to, say, for instance, a sharpshooter, because the sharpshooter is almost guaranteed to do damage if it has a clear line of sight on its target, whereas the Arbiter was much less capable in that regards. I feel like it brings them up to speed quite a little bit here. Strawberry walking forward with the commander. This is a move that I've seen her pull quite a few times. Moving the commander over here on the left-hand side, trying to walk the commander over onto this beachhead and take it over by force. We have a little bit of a naval battle over here. It looks like if Clownbaz would move the units forward, he's actually won the naval battle already. We have res subs? Yes, we do have res subs here. So with the res subs in tow, even if we lose the army, or the navy, we're still going to be able to rebuild everything, and I think it'd be well worthwhile to go for just a little bit more aggression over on the right, or over on the left-hand side. Big old naval battle over here as well. Frigates galore. I like this engagement though. You definitely want to target down any of those capital ships that you can see, any of the main boats that you can find, and there we go, taking down one of the destroyers. Always nice. Keep yourself constantly shelling away at the enemy, but also picking off boats one by one. We do have a res sub here, so at the very least, going to try and patch things back up, but one by one, these ships are going to fall. Heavy laser tower doing so much over here. Wow. Vaporizing a lot of water right now, but definitely threatening Agawa. Not really convenient to push forward on that side. heavy laser towers set up over here, these overwatches, is going to be great for holding control over this island. Normally, I wouldn't say that those heavy laser towers are worth it, but specifically with this mod enabled, yeah, those heavy laser towers actually are well worth it. They can do quite a lot of damage. Destroyers over here, getting into a little bit of a battle. If they could snipe one of these destroyers, they could certainly turn this battle in their favor. They need a missile ship, though, in order to give them a little bit more vision. That way they can fire away at their full range. Love to see that here any minute. See, I've got quite big plans starting up here. Fusion reactor already completed. We've got advanced energy converters as well. And you can see 600 metal or 600 energy goes in, 21 metal comes out. Very, very efficient. Extremely efficient. Perfect for jump-starting those economies. Persecutor built on the front lines over here. Gonna be good enough for breaking these lines. There are some construction turrets over here, though, so those will be nice for patching things up, but I don't think it's gonna work all too well. Yeah, that Persecutor putting in some work over here, yeah. Very nicely done. The AoE on that, taking down a whole lot of the units surrounding it. Very good to see. Persecutor even firing into the backline there. Almost took out the build power. We'll change priorities as a bunch of fiends are pulled over on this left-hand side. They're not going to be able to break the lines. The follow-up blitzes might be able to do something now. Maybe. Nope, there's gunslingers out already. The Kingdom fully prepared for that attack, it feels like. Yeah, nicely done. Gunslingers do hold the line as well with that beamer turret and all those T1 defenses. Very nicely done. Persecutor putting in the work. I think it's going to get this heavy laser tower at the very least. It's a beamer turret as well for its troubles. Firing away at whatever it can. This is one of those situations where it'd be really useful to, oh yeah, I was even thinking this. So building a bunch of these arbiters that can track, you'll see me go for it here in just a second. Building these pinpointers makes a whole lot of sense. Once you have the pinpointers up and running, it means that your missiles, if they're locking on, are gonna be a whole lot more accurate. So you can see these arbiters now firing their missiles and they're gonna heat seek directly towards whatever target. You can see them curving there at the very end as they try to adjust, hit their target perfectly. I really like it. I think it makes the arbiters a whole lot more menacing to deal with. Definitely makes them a formidable force, and you have to really respect them. You can see Ragnarok doing just that by abandoning this frontline position, realizing there's not really any point in keeping this together because, yeah, those arbiters are just going to be able to shell away at a lot of this T1 with complete, I mean, no issue whatsoever. Pinpointers making these arbiters extremely dangerous. Also, they help the whole team, so everybody else is also going to be a whole lot more accurate, which is always a nice little benefit. There you go. You can see those missiles. Yeah, adjusting course so that they can actually fire at just the right angle, at just the right speed. Make sure they hit the enemy at just the right spot. Nice little destroyer battle. Cute little T1 destroyer battle. Always fun to see. Adorable. Arbiter's gonna help out quite a lot here. Oh, just brutal. Yeah, you can see the missiles correcting themselves. There they go, firing away. They can actually reach out way further than their current attack range because once they fire, they've locked onto their target, and then they can well, yeah, they can adjust and move and fire and basically be a menace. An absolute menace. How many arbiters is this in total? 12 arbiters in total. $600 an arbiter. Definitely very cost efficient, I would say. Certainly when they can actually hit their missiles where you actually want them. Yeah, it makes them quite powerful. This works as well with things like this, for instance, the Ambassador. This will also be able to lock onto any targets that it finds. Every faction has some option to deal with this, but certainly makes for quite a menacing offense here. There go the Arbiters firing away. I'm so satisfied with these things. They definitely really satisfying the way that they work. The fact that they could just completely, well, you know, lock onto enemies. I don't know, something about lock-on missiles really tickles my fancy. Looks like the naval battle has concluded over here. More or less. The brown player Space Jam here, building a tremendous amount of boats, going for a whole lot of eco, and then switching into full-blown production here, and now producing way more boats per second here than Clownbass is able to keep up with. These Halbergs, quite powerful. Going to be wonderful for blasting down a whole lot of these. But is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Maybe if we could get into the back and deal some damage, but there's just too many boats right here for Space Jam. Gonna need some sort of critical interference in order to clean the rest of this up. Arbiters were lost right here. Spybots giving perfect vision of this area. There it is. Whenever you're being shot at, you can't tell why you're being shot so perfectly. It's Spybots. It's always Spybots. Ah, so this is what Clownbass has been working on. Instead of production, going into a T2 laboratory here. Gonna be going for some of those Buccaneers. Pretty expensive, but they're quite worthwhile. You can get those Buccaneers up and running. They can put out a tremendous amount of damage when built in mass. Oh, it's close. There we go. Spybot detected. Taking out Spybots, always very satisfying. Feels like you've caught your enemy in the act. Here you can see I'm being a greedy boy. Going for a whole bunch of tech right now. Going for a 3rd, 4th, 5th advanced fusion reactor. I've definitely got a plan in mind here. You can see just as well Jamaica's going for a whole bunch of economy. You have to remember that each one of these aphises produces well, it produces the same amount of energy, but it can be converted for a whole lot more metals. So these energy converters, they produce a whole lot more. Oh, nice bombing run over here. A couple of T1 bombers dropping their payload on some advanced fusion reactors. Oh, is there enough? It's close. Very close. I think there's just barely enough fighters to clean all this up. That Aphis will stay standing. Got down to 22% right there, but did manage to survive. Very close call right there. If the build power had been targeted down, I don't know if that would have survived. Either way, very lucky. Reed Sweet counting his lucky stars here. That T3 facility is still up and running. Counter Arbiters over here. Nicely done, including also a radar jammer, which is always lovely. Gonna keep those from being radar targeted. Here I'm going for the cheesiest, scummiest strategy known to mankind, spamming out bed bugs in order to in order to kill anything in the ocean anyways. Thinking my opponent was in, or my teammate rather, was in a little bit of trouble here, I decided it was time to start taking drastic measures. So the bed bugs march across the seafloor, ready to try and do some damage here. Buccaneers revealed themselves though, get into the fight. There's only 3 of them though. It's a lot of T1 destroyers. We have 9,000 metal and T1 destroyers and only 2,000 metal and Buccaneers. Very dangerous. Scorpion turret firing on boats over here. Very difficult. Ah, here's that critical failure to be able to go down hills. Yeah, those these cataphracts, which are the turbo laser cataphracts, unfortunately, yeah, they cannot go down this little hillside over here. I didn't realize that. I was spamming them, getting ready to use them offensively here. Turns out, they have to go all the way around. Makes them a little bit useless in this case here. This Arbiter's firing away. Luckily overkilling a little bit here, slowing them down slightly. Time for a Hail Mary though. Spybots are produced. Spybot lining up for the connection. Arbiters have been spotted. 3, 2, 1. Massive EMP right there. Connects with all of the Arbiters. I remember that one. Forget a lot about these games, but I remember a good EMP connection right there, and now those cataphracts blasting away from the high ground, blasting apart those Arbiters. Caught all of them right there, red-handed with the Spybots. Oh, felt like I saved myself from the brink of destruction right there as those arbiters were marching towards my base and I had no effective way of dealing with them. That was very, very close call. Shiva printer now up and online, pumping out these bad boys, these T3 massacres. Ready to massacres? These T3 killers, how about that? I don't know. Better words probably available. Wow. Yeah, Mosh Pit is probably correct right here. That's a tremendous wreckage right now, and all of it is going back to DSA. Definitely love that. DSA is definitely going to be happy to use up all that metal and produce a whole bunch of ships. The swarm is marching forward, though. Demons and fiends and grunts, oh my. Everybody and their mother has gotten on board with this action, is ready to push on through. Demons do have a little anti-air missile on them, so the Shuriken are going to get shot out of the sky as well. Very nice to see. Wonder if they're doing friendly fire damage. Almost feels like it. Commander self-destruct right there. Takes down the, well, vast majority of these forces. There's still a demon up and running, though. It's one beefy boy. Does a lot of damage, too. Accompanying grunts as well, making a beeline directly towards the backline. A backline beeline, if you will. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Classic in a whole lot of trouble. Demons marching on through. They take out the build power. Well, it takes out the build power. Targets down the Aphis. I think he's gonna get it. Boom goes the base for Classic right there. All of that hard work evaporates into thin air. Teammates not able to save him as that demon puts out too much firepower. Pun well intended. Still a couple of units, cursory units still running on by over here. Looks like Capricorn will de-gun down at least a fiend. A couple of grunts right here not being targeted. Commander will not fire when you're cloaked, so that's why it wasn't shooting at those, in case you were curious. Demon will stem the flow of these units that are now pushing forward on that side. Meanwhile, massive counterattack on the right-hand side. Punch the enemy in the face, they'll punch right back, and it looks like a demon has walked all the way underwater here and snuck into the back line, hitting Jamakis' main economy right in the Aphis. Boom goes the generators. All of that energy down the drain here. Not one, but two bases here as well. All of it goes down. I know I immediately handed over an Aphis and some energy converters just to make sure that there was some sort of power still going back to Jamakis over here. Trying to help out, building some of these constructors as well. Some Twitchers here to try and help rebuild. Always very tricky to rebuild in this situation. The most useful thing almost every single time is a little bit of build power. T3 Lab's still standing though, so at the very least, production can be resumed. Whole bunch of cataphracts being sent over in that direction as well. Demons marching on the right-hand side, trying to find their way into, a little bit more counterattack damage. Huge array of plasma cannons being built over on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plasma cannons coming up right now for Bob Tree 1. ready to fight the good fight, I suppose. Demons pushing forward. Spelling trouble. Arbiters, with their newfound heat-seeking, definitely allows them to fight T3 a little bit more effectively here. Cataphract's also very effective, shutting down a whole lot of that. Cerberus built in the hills over here actually ends up doing a tremendous amount of work. Didn't realize how powerful that thing was, even against the T1 boats here, but apparently able to shell away and do some serious damage. I guess being up on this high ground also makes it quite effective here because it can fire away for just miles and miles. Not very effective, mind you. But dangerous, to say the very least. The demons ready to advance now. How many do we have in total? 8 demons in total here. Marching forward. Shiva also aggressing on the left-hand side. Demons too hot to handle. They're going to be marching forward here. There's a lot of them that are taken down to really low health here, but still, I'm not sure if there's enough to clean the rest of these up. They're trying though. Shuriken also giving it their all, even though they're being shot down by the anti-air missiles. The demon falls, another one goes down as well. Pulsar's giving it their best shot, trying to blast out all of them that they can. Bulwark also contributing significantly. Looks like this demon got lost along the way. It'll find the wall of beamer turrets starting to melt it down, and man, What a solid hold right there, managing to actually hold on. Meanwhile, Ragnarok Johnson going to be targeted by the Shiva over here, firing away at that Maroon Commander. Difficult to deal with those Shiva, especially when they're built in mass like this, and here they go, pushing into the main base, the Maroon Commander, taking down a significant portion of his production. Economy's still intact, at least for the time being. A few of them still pushing into the backlines, though. Pop go the energy converters. Demon's now pumped out by Strawberry, who's sending him across the map. Decides to target down the advanced fusion reactors over here. Definitely well worth it. Aphis goes boom, and there goes another huge hit to the yellow player. Well, another huge hit to the red team, but the yellow player going down specifically. Still trying to take out that last remaining Aphis here for the maroon player as well. Shiva giving it its all. Trying desperately to take it down. Eventually, it will pop, sending the maroon player back to the Stone Age. So tricky to deal with. Bastions, by the way, built up on the cliffside here. Those beautiful weapons of war, capable of doing some lovely things. We've got a little fortification zone over here as well. Pulsars guarding this area. Pit bulls as well, those pop-up turrets. Bunch of resbots trying to eat up as much of this wreckage as possible. Probably eating their weight in metal. Eating, yeah, I mean, from all angles right here. Looks like the yellow player will tap out at this point. Classic still trying to rebuild at the time being. Trying to resurrect whatever is possible. Shiva over here firing away. Still doing some damage. Oh, those aren't shuriken. Those are the drones from the drone carrier. I see. Wondered what those were. Big old clash over here on the left-hand side. Are we eating the boats? Oh, maybe we're just eating the wreckage. Okay. I thought these brown reclaim subs were eating up the boats for the lavender player here. That was quite funny. That would be hilarious to see. Destroyers and Buccaneers. Sorry, battleships and Buccaneers. Gonna be great for cleaning up the majority of this stuff. Loads of energy converters and all sorts of other stuff coming up here. Defensive fighters as well. Trying desperately to make some sort of an air wall here. Finally remembered my anti-nuke as well. Figure that's probably important. Do we have a nuclear launcher, by the way? There it is. Nuclear missiles are also tweaked. Oh, this is going to be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You're going to enjoy this. Nuclear missile is fired, launching out of the tube. And just watch. Up it goes. Up it goes, all the way into the stratosphere. All the way to the moon, the nuclear missile goes. It comes back down, striking from above. Right where the purple player has parked all their boats. Massive connection comes that nuclear missile, wiping out every single force the purple player had amassed over the last 15 minutes or so. Boom goes the boats. Beautiful, beautiful connection from that Cortex missile launcher. Raining death from above. Absolutely feels like the nuclear missiles are, well, nuclear missiles in this mod. They've been tweaked up a little bit. I believe they have a whole lot more damage. I think they explained it in chat at one point, but I wasn't paying attention, obviously, as a member of the game. Typically, only so much APM to spend. Advanced torpedo launcher coming up here. Great for clearing away a whole lot of these. This is a dangerous army moving in on the right-hand side here. I think we need to stop producing missile boats. I think, yeah, Krakens are probably a good idea. It's a lot of Buccaneers on the back end of this, but I think Krakens are probably the best bet here. Oh, looks like we're changing strategies. Gonna be going for some of those flamethrower ships, rather, pardon me. Flamethrower ships, and, I mean, they might be able to get some work done against the T1. They'll be decent against the T2. At the very least, energy is critically injured right now for Ragnarok, who owns all these boats. Somehow, Ragnarok ended up owning all these boats. I don't even know how Ragnarok ended up owning all these boats, but a little, there we go. Boats handed off to DSA here so that they can actually fire with some of their, some of their energy here. Yeah, Yeah, flamethrower ship's actually contributing quite a lot. Doing a great job of burning down whatever they can. Anti-airships up front. Definitely not the ideal place for those. It's probably all just fight commanded, and without some sort of an auto attack of their own, they're not going to be able to contain themselves. Yeah, this is the problem. Those flamethrower ships are just going to melt away as soon as those, as soon as any of these Buccaneers start concentrating fire. Dragon's a little bit better at cleaning all this up, though. With those anti-airships out of the way, yeah, Dragons are going to have pretty much free reign to start blasting apart all of that. Full-blown production over here, though. You can tell I've gone APHIS crazy. Getting more and more advanced fusion reactors, but it's basically necessary. Got to keep the production up. Left-hand side. Ragnarok has been queued. Who's actually building that Ragnarok? Hard to tell. Is it you? No. Somebody over here has queued up a Ragnarok. One of you guys? Can't for the life of me tell which constructor over there queued up a Ragnarok, but it looks like the pink player ready to end this game, trying very desperately to at the very least. You can see I've queued up a weapon of my own, right in the middle of my own base, but this thing has a tremendous range, the Starfall that is, so it's going to be quite nice for helping out with a, you know, a significant amount of these forces on the front lines here, trying to clean up a whole lot of these spam centers, these bases, anything on the front. Should be quite good. T1 bot lab set up as well for a little bit of a spam. Somehow spending 700 metal per second. Always impresses me. Dragon's now in place here from Strawberry. Ready to blast apart any of these ships that come rolling through. Man, the Dragons are powerful in this mod. Definitely worth their cost. For 5,000 metal, you get a demon on the battlefield. Not literally, I suppose. Can't say they're a demon now that there's actually a unit called the Demon, but I suppose they're a beast on the battlefield. How's that? I like that these are targeting down single units at a time, by the way. Definitely the right way to do it. Bursting down these units one by one until eventually they're all destroyed. There they go. Solid defense right there. Demons walking along the water over here. Looks like the Dragons are actually able to fire at them. I'd love to see those actually, yeah, used a little bit better to clean up those demons here. It looks like we are headed in that direction. A whole bunch of cataphracts coming over here as well, try and help out. There they go. Melting those demons. My goodness, are those falling apart quickly. Dragons able to do some serious damage. Wow. There go all three of those demons, as if they never even existed. Blasted to smithereens. You can see the queue of units is quite large. T2 defensive fighters, pretty good at dogfighting here. Dare I say, very good at dogfighting. They're extremely agile, meaning they can, they can target down units a whole lot better than even some of the other T2 units are. However, they're very, very slow. They don't move all too quickly. Left-hand side, falling prey to the serpents over here. It's nice to see. Yep, serpents built in mass, capable of destroying virtually any army. Hurry, says Jabakis. Got the Starfall coming up here. Should be up in just about a minute and 43 seconds. Ragnarok also coming up here, a whole lot further along though. Although I will say Bob Tree is stalling on metal and energy a whole lot more, building a whole lot more economy right now. Big old demon push on this left-hand side, looking to shut down the Starfall. Demons headed over. Jamak is sending his demons. They're marching as quickly as they can. They're on a mad sprint to save the day. Demons from the orange player marching up the shoreline. How many do we have in total here? It's a grand total of 72,000 worth of 12 demons trying to, fire their way over onto the shore here. Not nearly enough Shiva or Razorback to clean all these up. Demons definitely on a warpath right now. Jamak is sending his in to try and save the day, though. Some of those blue demons coming in. Trying at the very least. Commander sent forward here. Try and explode some of them. Phoenix is also blasting apart as many of them as possible. Everybody contributing, trying desperately to save everything they can. The whole base under threat. Right-hand side of demons are cleaned up. The build power goes down over here, though. Starfall just barely finishes. Blasted to smithereens, but eventually demons are cleared up and the base is secured. Starfall barely alive, able to fire, gets the first volley off on the Ragnarok. Ragnarok here, shielded slightly, so it's going to be able to sustain for at least a volley or two. This is a mad race. Ragnarok immediately starts firing. Starts targeting the Starfall. They're going back and forth. Starfall at 48%. Ragnarok at full health, but everything is crumbling over here. Build power collapses. Everything crumbling as the Starfall... the projectiles are deflected off of the shields. My goodness. Starfall pierces through. Starts to blow up some of the build power over here. 85% on the Ragnarok. It's firing deflector shields, bouncing some of those projectiles around, trying to keep the base safe. Starfall fires another volley. Ragnarok firing into these shields. The shields are failing, though. All of the shields are failing. Meanwhile, all the shields are gone over here, protecting the Ragnarok. Ragnarok still desperately clinging to life, but more and more volleys from the Starfall are coming down right on top of it. 50%, 48% left on that. Oh, all the build power goes down over here. The Starfall is completely unprotected. Yeah, without that build power, the Starfall is no longer going to be gaining anything. All the advanced fusion reactors over here pop as well, meaning that they're not going to be able to continue powering those shields that were protecting this base. Starfall launches another volley, down to 32% on the Ragnarok. Ragnarok continuing to fire away. Dragons firing over on the left-hand side as well, trying desperately to break through. Down to 13%, 12% left on the Ragnarok. 29% left on the Starfall. My goodness. Back and forth and back and forth. Energy still available here to fire the damn thing. Energy storage is raining down from above. Starfall collapses on that base over here. Another volley sent towards the Ragnarok. 12% left on that cannon. Continues firing. More and more volleys. Starfall takes another volley to the face. 2% left of that cannon. My goodness, it's anybody's game. Dragon still continuing to sweep across the backside of the red team over here. Demons pushing through on the right-hand side. We also have a massive army over here. Turbo lasers pushing forward. The Ragnarok falls just before the Starfall does. 6% remaining on the Starfall there, and barely enough energy to fire it. All the spam production taken out over here by the red team. My goodness, it couldn't have been any closer over here. Dragons burning away all of the base in the back for DSA. Everything comes to a final conclusion over here. Starfall trying to blast apart all the remainder buildings and defenses and everything else that were over here on the shoreline. Trying to rebuild. No unit production anymore, save for the T2 laboratories over here, I suppose. T2 air labs. Trying to rebuild some sort of production. Starfall firing away, though. This thing capable of a unparalleled amount of destruction. Demons firing away as well. Classic trying to move the commander and going for something cheeky here. Ducks waddling up the shoreline, ready to close out this game. Queued those up about 20 minutes ago. Another volley out here. Wasn't sure if they were resurrecting, so I felt like I should probably seal the deal and fire another volley of rounds over here, blasting it to debris. No resurrection there available for that Ragnarok, and in come the Phoenixes to seal the deal. They burst through, managed to take out all of the advanced fusion reactors right there for Bob Tree. Another volley of Phoenix fire connects. Ooh, maybe not. Doesn't manage to connect, I should say. Commander goes down right there, though, for the pink player that seals the fate for the red team. My goodness, that battle was close. Down to 6% on that Starfall's health versus the Ragnarok, just barely managing to be blown to pieces in the very nick of time. Oh, what an action-packed game. Love to relive that one. Sure hope you enjoyed this one. If you like seeing these stream games with some of the funky settings, you can always let me know down below in the comment section, or just like the video. Shows me your support either way. But I sure hope you have a tremendous rest of your day, and I will see you in the very next Beyond All Reason video. Peace out, folks.